Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett, in my hands is Almost American number 5, wrapping up this series. This has been a really interesting one, kind of like right up my alley. It's written by Marz. Beni Lobel is the artist. Juancho is the colorist. Rus Wooton is the letter. It's based on a true story about a person named Janos and then his wife, Victoria. And they are defectors, Russian spies, basically. They work for the FSB, or worked for the FSB, and defect to the United States when fearing for their lives. So this is a story about their defection. But the biggest is it's about the bumps of that. Like, it really kind of pulls back the curtain and shows how jacked up this process was. Like, it's not smooth and easy like in the films. You had the FBI and CIA basically having a dick measuring contest. You've got, them getting promised stuff that's just not paying out. It's really interesting to see the reality of it. And then the bigger, of course, is, Russia's not digging some defectors. So they've sent someone after them to take care of them. And all things come together here in this issue in a really interesting way, in that it's very open-ended finale. I got a lot of vibes, very American Splendor vibes off of it. After kind of wrapping up the story, Janos now takes the stage to address kind of where they're at and what happened afterwards, which is a really interesting thing. It kind of reminds me of the monologue in American Splendor, where he's talking about how he's finding people with similar names, just something that reminded me of it and similar vibe. And it kind of emphasizes just like, this was a couple that got screwed over by the American government. They tried to do the right thing, and in the end were kind of just left to hang. But the bigger is they found a community afterwards, and a community that was willing to fight for them and help them out, which I think is the big lesson out of it. So overall, I think like for people who are interested in the reality of what it would be like to defect, this is definitely like a really kind of pulls the curtain back. I think the other thing that's really interesting is towards the end is Janos says that this is from his perspective, and we don't hear from his wife very much, and hints that we might at some point get that opportunity to hear from his wife and experience things from her perspective. And I think that would be really cool to get a second volume from her perspective. And see maybe how it differs, how it's similar. I personally think that would be really, really neat to add a little bit more. But for me, for someone who's kind of fascinated by this thing, I think it's cool to see. I think the other thing that's really interesting about it is, of course, where the world sits right now, it gives a bit more insight from people who lived this world, that worked for the Russian government, that dealt with the spying bullshit. I think from there it's actually a really fascinating comic just on that to shine a little bit truth to that reality. And talking to Janos as well, I mean, like, this is very accurate to what the reality of it all was. So overall, like, I'm pretty intrigued by the ending. It's definitely not what I was expecting at all, and I'm not bad with it at all. I actually think it's a really interesting biography, and I almost kind of wish that it was done as a graphic novel instead of individual issues. There have been something I think a little bit better done as a graphic novel and be able to read it in one shot. But so overall, I mean, I think if you've been reading it at this point, if you like spy stories or kind of like, the what happens after, really, really, really cool read. The art of this, I think, continues to be solid. There's some really good art. I want this page. I so would love to buy that page right there. I think it's so cool. Very James Bond. I mean, to me, that's like cover worthy. Everything. There's a solid tense aspect to the opening of this issue. I think it's just really, really good. And yeah, like, not everything on this is pretty and satisfactory, and some things are kind of left open, as they should be. This is not a story that is necessarily a happy ending in the traditional sense. So I think it nails it in a lot of ways. So this has been a slow burn of the series, but it's a one that I've really kind of enjoyed the longer it's gone on. So this is out in comic shops now. You can go get it. We got a link beneath this video. Open your zip code to tell the comic shops near you. No shop, no problem. We'll do have some links underneath where you can purchase your own copy. There'll be affiliate links, so we do get a small percentage by doing that. You'll support a site, so thank you. And speaking of support, I want to thank AfterShock for hooking us up with the review copy, and of course, thank you all for watching. If you're into comics, if you're into AfterShock, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.